Tonight, for the Democrats.
We will change the course of history.
I am ready to lead.
And the Republicans.
This campaign's going on.
We're going to win the nomination and we're going to win the presidency.
This is a two-man race, and we're in it.
It's the race for the White House. Who will rise? Who will fall? From ABC News with Facebook, this is Super Tuesday, Showdown Coast to Coast. And now, live from ABC News election headquarters in New York, Charles Gibson, Diane Sawyer, and George Stephanopoulos.
And we welcome you back, or if you're just joining us, I don't know what time zones are just joining us or which are going away, but that's because we've been here for 5 hours and we have been engrossed, and you sort of lose track of time when you do all this. But Diane and George and I are delighted that you've been with us for a while. If you have, and if you're just joining us, well, it's just fascinating what's going on and what has gone on all night long. So we're going to give you another summary of just how things stand at this point. And I want to start with the Democratic states won. Hillary Clinton winning the state of California, the big state of California, winning the primary in Arizona, winning Tennessee, Arkansas, winning New Jersey, Massachusetts, her home state of New York, and Oklahoma. Those are all primary states that Hillary Clinton won. In Barack Obama's case, he has won a number of primaries. He has won a number of caucus states. The primaries in Georgia and Connecticut, Utah, caucuses in Minnesota, caucuses in Colorado, the primary in Illinois, the primary in Alabama, caucuses in Idaho and Kansas and North Dakota, and the primary in Delaware.
Charlie, we're going to come out of tonight with dueling definitions of victory. You look at that map right there. Barack Obama's won 12 states. Hillary Clinton's won 8. There are 2 left over, New Mexico and Missouri. So he's going to win the most states tonight, no matter what. Right now, the popular vote is very close. I think nationwide he's up by about 9,000 votes right now. That could change before the end of the night. She won the big states. He won the Republican states, but then we're going to come down. There it is right there. He's up by 5,000 votes.
That's amazing.
That
That's
is
amazing.
11,000. That's like Florida. That is like the state of Florida in 2000 right there.
Yes.
It's the 1/10 of 1% again.
One of the other things that's interesting to me, though, George, the states that he has won, many of them are solid Republican
Well,
states.
that's one of the big talking points he's looking for coming out of tonight. He's the Democrat who can win in November because he can attract independents and Republicans.
But George, it's a talking
states.
point that he says, I've won Idaho, I've won Kansas. Those are not states that are going to vote Democratic.
I think that's what Hillary Clinton's campaign is going to say right back to that. You're exactly right. On the other hand, he shows that he can get excitement going in states that Democrats have never got excitement going before.
Yes, he went up to Idaho and he drew actually more people to a rally in Idaho than actually had attended the Idaho caucuses
3
4 years
times
ago.
more than had ever voted before.
Yeah, that's really extraordinary.
Tens of thousands. I want to bring in David Chalian, our political director here, who has been reflecting on the difference between the Obama voter and the Clinton voter as we've seen it emerge tonight.
Well, it's what we saw, the profile of the voter leading up to tonight. But when you look at this national vote we've been talking about so close, you sort of look, well, who went out there? And you see a profile. You see that for Senator Clinton, women, Hispanics, well-educated, less educated, less wealthy people, Democrats, come out for her, mainline Democrats. For Barack Obama, his voter profile turned out for him. He had African Americans, better educated, wealthier Democrats in the independents came out for him. And so they both had a profile. And clearly with this national popular vote split half and half, they're getting those folks out.
All right, I don't want to put you on the spot, Gary Langer, head of our polling unit over there. Big surprise to you. You see the numbers in 3 dimensions.
Well, it's really interesting how Barack Obama is also winning nationally by a slight margin. White men, really quite a surprise. He won white men in Iowa and in New Hampshire, but not since. And overall tonight, he's winning white men. He's winning them in a variety of states. He won white men by a wide margin in California, making that a closer race than might have been expected otherwise. Really an interesting result.
All right, we want to check in with our correspondents out there.
Just before we do that, there's just a couple of other boards I want to check, and then we'll get to the correspondence. But I want to check the raw vote in the Democratic states. And one state I mentioned earlier that we're not going to be able to call tonight. That is in Missouri. This is a state where early in the night, Hillary Clinton was showing a wide lead. Now with 99% of the precincts reporting, Barack Obama has a 7,000 vote lead. It's getting very close, but we still don't feel confident calling this race.
You know, we were just talking about Florida a second ago. Let me bring it up again. If that stays within 1%, the loser can ask for a recount.
In Missouri.
Missouri.
Ah, and you may have to watch Good Morning America.
I always do. and Alaska. We haven't talked about Alaska because the polls there closed just a little over an hour ago. And in the caucuses there, we show Obama. This is 60% of the precincts reporting in Alaska. We show Barack Obama with 73% and Hillary Clinton with 27%. That's a pretty wide lead. Obama there with a very strong lead in the Alaska caucuses. So, in delegates that we know have been awarded tonight. Now, we talk about the fact 1,681, that's not a number on the screen, but 1,681 delegates were to be won tonight in the various states. And obviously we cannot, because parsing them congressional district by congressional district is going to take a considerable period of time. But at the moment, Barack Obama has about a 15 delegate lead. And that is good news for the Obama campaign, because they were saying that if they could actually come out of this night ahead, they would be very pleased in terms of delegates. Now, when you add in delegates that were awarded in earlier states and the superdelegates that we know have committed to one candidate or another, Hillary Clinton has now a 45 delegate lead, but with 2,025 needed to nominate, we're a long way from being definitive there.
But you did see Barack Obama, so far at least, close the gap with Hillary Clinton. As Mark Halperin reminded us just a few minutes ago, the map in the next week is very good for Barack Obama.
Right. Going to the Republicans in states won, the summary of states won for the Republicans, John McCain winning the big states and winning the big delegate prizes, winning California, winning Missouri, the winner-take-all primary in Connecticut, the winner-take-all primary in Arizona, Illinois, the winner-take-all primary in New York, Oklahoma, the winner-take-all primary in New Jersey, and Delaware. Missouri, I should say, is also a winner-take-all state. Yes, it is indeed. Mitt Romney winning the primary in Utah, the caucuses in Minnesota, the primary in Massachusetts, and caucuses in Colorado, Montana, and North Dakota. And Huckabee, a very strong showing for Mike Huckabee, winning the primaries in Georgia, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Alabama. States in which Mitt Romney had hoped to do well, finished third in those states, and Huckabee also
and look at the geographic split here. I mean, John McCain's strong across the middle of the country and in all the big states. Mitt Romney's strength in the Rocky Mountain West and the Plain states. Mike Huckabee down in the South.
And that's the Democratic breakdown of the states won, Obama and Clinton. But we still have up on the monitor there the Republican states that you were talking about. And that is an interesting point. There's a breadth of wins there. For
and a real
McCain.
Geographic diversity.
Coast to coast, right.
Talk about Huckabee in Texas.
Well, as he said, it's a neighbor of Arkansas, so he expects to do quite well there.
What's quite well there?
You know, that's a month away, and it's on March 4th. And I wonder, I mean, he might go and try to make his last stand there, but he's going to have an interesting calculation to make in the next month or so. He and John McCain have been very close over the course of this campaign, even though they've been rivals. He has helped John McCain through the course of this campaign, even though they have been rivals. So if Mitt Romney gets out, Mike Huckabee may want to run in order to continue to build up delegate strength, but he won't want to get too nasty against John McCain, because he is building up a case right now to be John McCain's choice for vice president. So he'll want to run, but not run too hard, not run too nasty.
One state I want to show you that's very interesting. We're going to take a commercial break in a moment, then we're going to go out and talk to our correspondents in the field and also show you something of what all the candidates had to say tonight. But there's one state I want to show you, which is Arizona on the Republican side. Now, there's a state that we knew John McCain would carry. It's a winner-take-all state with 68% of the vote reported. And this is interesting just because McCain didn't win as big a victory in Arizona as we expected. Doesn't have 50% of the vote in his home state. No. And I'm a little surprised by that, actually.
Well, you know, he makes enemies, and he went into the face of a lot of his people in his state on the issue of immigration. It cuts both ways, but he angered a lot of people in his state on that issue.
53 delegates there in the state of Arizona, McCain winning them all. I just think it's sort of interesting, that number, that he has not yet gotten 50% in his state. Just to show you the delegates won tonight on the Republican side, it is a huge victory for John McCain. These are the delegates awarded tonight. As you can see, 400 for McCain, 100 for Huckabee, 100 for Romney. So over any one of his opponents, he has a 4-to-1 advantage
300 delegates.
Yeah, and out of the, 400, 500, 600, he won 2/3 of the delegates. And then when you add those to the delegates that had already been awarded coming into the night, he is coming up on close to about, what I have to figure that out, but it's about 40%, a little over 40% of the delegates needed for nomination. We're going to take a break, say goodbye to some stations. We'll be back.
For continuing election coverage, stay with ABC News.